Mrs. Murata. Good morning, Montgomery. What defines you? What makes you different or unlike anyone else? Do your life's experiences shape who we are, what we believe, and who we become? It was a gray, overcast day, and it was drizzling slightly. I looked up at the 10-foot board I was holding in my hands and wondering if I'd ever make it back to the beach. As we walked toward the shoreline, I remember the waves crashing towards the beach. We laid our boards in the sand and practiced how to get up on the board. You start by paddling to catch the wave. When the wave has you, you put your hands in a plank position and arch your back. Then, on one motion, you get your feet set on the board and bend your knees. If you have your left foot first, you're a natural. If your right foot is first, you're a goofy foot. This seemed like 3 simple steps: paddle, plank, and pop up. How hard could that be, I thought. We dragged our boards to the water's edge. The water was super warm considering there was no sun that day. We started to paddle away from the beach in search of waves. We went out so far that I could barely see the beach when I looked back. With shaking hands and the excitement of the moment, it was pretty nerve-wracking. After multiple attempts to try to get up on the board and then falling back down, I was losing hope. I kept trying to paddle, plank, pop up. Paddle, plank, pop up. I tried to tell myself that I'd ride the next wave. Finally, I did all the steps correctly. I was up on the board and was headed straight for the beach. I smiled and looked down at the board. As soon as I did that, my feet slipped out from under me and I fell face first into the water. Total faceplant. It really, really hurt. I couldn't believe I forgot the last step. Once you're on the board, you need to make sure you'll look up at the beach or you'll fall. I was pretty sure I learned my lesson. As I chased after my board, I wanted to give up. What seemed so easy on the beach was a lot harder than I thought, but I knew I shouldn't quit. I climbed back on the board and began the same routine. Paddle, plank, pop up. I did all the steps correctly. I was finally up on the board. Riding a wave, I kept my eyes on the beach. I rode that wave several hundred feet and jumped off the board onto the wet sand. I had a huge smile on my face. I did it. I actually made it to the beach. I grabbed my board and ran back in the water. The first time I went surfing was pretty amazing. The waves weren't too big, but looking out the water of Honolulu Bay, Hawaii was unforgettable. Little did I know that 5 years later, I'd still be surfing. I'm not an Olympic surfer or a national champion, but I enjoy the challenge of surfing and still want to get better. Every summer, my family and I go surfing in Ocean City, New Jersey. My cousins and I are always competing to see who will get to the beach the most times. Sometimes I go surfing with my friends. We have a great time laughing at our successes and failures. Every time I get on the board, I remember the first time I went surfing and how much I learned about myself. Surfing gave me an opportunity to develop the courage and perseverance to get back up when you fall down. I will always remember that you can only get better at something if you try and don't give up. I won't soon forget the first time I played field hockey. I was in the back of the car, and it was cold and dark. Practices were at fall after Friday night's daylight savings, and it was like I was driving through a dark tunnel. Going to field hockey practice for the first time ever, I have to admit, I was extremely nervous. My teeth were chattering somewhat, something I always do when I'm nervous. I never even picked up a stick, and I was nervous as to whether I'd be able to dribble the ball correctly. We arrived at practice at 7 o'clock. I walked into a cold building that felt like a huge ice rink. There were tons of girls on the court warming up and getting ready for practice, looking like they were Olympians. At least that's what I thought. Practice started, and we were put into groups based on our ability. The coaches were hard and fair. We worked and worked. After practice was over, I went home knowing that I want to play field hockey for as long as I could. When my 5th grade school year began, the field hockey team was short of players. I was ecstatic, but a little nervous to be playing on the middle school team. Even though I had already been playing field hockey for 2 years before, I had some doubts. We had our first practice, and I enjoyed it more than any other field hockey practice I'd ever had. The coaches and my teammates were really nice. They gave me tips and pointers to make me a better player. They helped me feel a part of the team. Although this started a story about field hockey, it really means a whole lot more to me. During the 4 years I've been playing field hockey for Montgomery, I've made some great new friends, and some of the girls on the team have become my best friends. I've enjoyed traveling to games on the buses and spending time with my teammates and friends. Because of these friendships, I've played multiple different sports, such as lacrosse and basketball. I would never have tried these sports if I didn't have such good friends along with me. These friendships are both on and off the field. Class trips to Echo Hill, Florida, and DC were monumental, and I know Canada will be too. While I really like to play sports, I believe the memories with my friends are most important. The good times I've had over the years, from sports teams, trips, and just regular school days, I know I'll remember forever. For my first day of half-day pre-K, I was quiet and kept to myself. I was new in Montgomery and didn't know anyone. My previous preschool didn't go so well. Unlike the students, the kids, or the teachers, I didn't enjoy going at all. Hopefully, I thought the new school would be different. On my first day here at Montgomery, I was soon surrounded by warm smiles and kind people. The campus and the people were very friendly and welcomed me. Their kindness and willingness to help the new kids was amazing. My first year here in this new school would be the beginning of a really great thing. The fall fun days, tractor rides, chapels, trick or trunk, and Greek and Roman games are huge events that make Montgomery, Montgomery. But there's one more thing to know. My teachers, administrators, and coaches have all been very important to me. They've helped me grow academically, to think for myself, and encouraged me to explore things of interest. They've helped me realize what I didn't know about myself. Things like what interests and motivates me, what kind of effort do I need to put in to achieving a goal, and what do you do when you face an obstacle. Maybe, most importantly, they've shown me how caring people will be there to help you when you need it the most. They've been there for me on school days. Some teachers have been there for me in the summers. They've helped me with homework, tests, and projects. And they've helped me to be a better student and athlete. They've been leaders to me and so many others, and they've made a lasting impression on me. Leaders, like ones in Montgomery, could do little things every day that mean a great deal to someone. They showed me we can all be leaders if we really try, like walking in the kindergarten students to the first chapel of the year. By now you may be wondering what these three stories have in common: courage and perseverance, friendship and leadership. The courage to try new things and take on new challenges. The perseverance to see things through even if you fall down at first. That how quickly you get up is far more important than how far you fall down. The friendships are timeless and they can create memories that last forever. That demonstrating leadership can make a big impact on people's lives every day. What these three stories have in common is Montgomery School. In the 9 and soon to be 10 years that I've been here, I've learned these traits and seen them every day. The perseverance and courage of never giving up on homework, tests, and projects. The friendships made every day, on and off the field, and the leadership of someone doing the right thing. If I could share one word of advice for your lower school, is to embrace it. Time in Montgomery goes quicker than you can imagine, so remember to make most of every little thing, every single day. As Christopher Robin said, "You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think." So back to my first questions. What defines you? What makes you different or unlike anyone else? Do your life's experiences shape who we are, what we believe, and who we become? Well, lower school, you define yourself, and you find yourself at Montgomery. Thank you.